Welcome to week 11, St. Patrick's Day, and our Bible study, Queen of the Castle, 52 Weeks of Encouragement for the Uninspired, Domestically Challenged, or Just Plain Tired Homemaker. Well, this is going to be one of my favorite videos because I get to share so many of the things that I love with you. If you can't tell from the aesthetic I try to do, I love Maureen O'Hara. I think she's beautiful, and she is known to be an Irish actress who, of course, has since passed, but just a woman that I just think was absolutely beautiful. Well, as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day this coming up week, there's a few things that I want to talk about. Now, this isn't going to be so much about Bible study today. It's going to be more about what I want to share with you, about what I know. Being a part of Irish societies, I have discovered there's a whole lot of things, there's a whole lot of misnomers about St. Patrick's Day here in the United States. First of all, corned beef is an American dish. It's an Irish American dish. Corned beef is a variant of bacon. It was a substitute for bacon when Irish immigrants came here to the United States. It was cheap and they could afford it, and so it was a bacon. The variant was bacon and cabbage in Ireland. So it's different. The bacon that we generally eat at breakfast today is different from the bacon that was generally eaten in Ireland at that time. So instead of corned beef and cabbage that you may like, which is totally fine, and again, it is Irish, but it's an Irish American dish, I want to encourage you to try stew. Stew is amazing. You will find lamb or mutton in the grocery stores at this time. Usually you'll find a leg, like a shank. But sometimes you can find, the smaller pieces or a roast, and you could cut the roast into those pieces. Now, it's a little bit on the pricey side, but I'm telling you, Irish stew made with lamb or mutton is amazing. And it was a tradition in Ireland to use root vegetables, just like potato and onion. The other thing is soda bread. When we think of soda bread, we think of Ireland, but honestly, soda bread didn't come around until about 1830s. And that's when baking soda was actually introduced to Ireland. Now, the original soda bread was 4 ingredients. It was the soft wheat flour. Ireland could grow soft wheat, and so that was perfect for this. And salt, baking soda, and sour milk. And that texture that it's known for, it has to do with this chemical reaction that comes between the acidic sour milk and the baking soda. And it's awesome. And if you had dried fruit, you might put dried fruit in there. But that's a tradition that I do a lot with my family, is the Irish stew and the soda bread. And I will be sharing with you my soda bread recipe. There is one in the book, and there's nothing wrong with the one in the book, but I'm going to share with you mine, which is a traditional recipe from a family in Ireland. Now, some of the things I like to do, as you'll see in some of the videos that I'm posting, and up behind me, I love to decorate too. And even I have a Christmas picture over here that was drawn for me by an artist in Ireland, in County Clare. And it's beautiful. I said, draw me something that is would represent an Irish Christmas, and so that's what she did. So you'll see that up behind me. You'll see a lot of these kitschy type things around, that you can pick up, and obviously I have a couple. This one here is dated 2007, so I've had it for a while. But one of the things I would do is, the reason why I love St. Patrick's Day so much is it brought family to my home. With both our sets of parents still living, we would celebrate Christmas at their places or Easter. But to get people to come to our place, we thought, what can we do to encourage people to come over? So we started celebrating St. Patrick's Day. And of course, my husband, sweet and naive, had no idea. He said, why would we celebrate a drinking holiday? Well, it's not a drinking holiday, quite honestly. It's a celebration of a man who brought Christianity to Ireland. And there are wonderful books about him that talk about what he did as a missionary. And he wasn't the first to go to Ireland to spread the gospel. He was one of the few that survived. So he understood what their life was like and could relate. He was sold into slavery as a young man and became trusted by his owner, and was out with the sheep one day and heard the voice of God tell him that he needed to leave. It was time for him to leave. And he went back and became a priest and desired to come back to Ireland, and he petitioned, however that worked back then, he petitioned the powers that be, and they said no multiple times. It was Ireland was a dangerous place for Christians, or at that time he was Catholic, of course. So it was neat for me to be able to tell that story to my family, and that we are celebrating, March 17th is actually the day he passed away. So we celebrate the life of St. Patrick when we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So I'm a big history buff and I love sharing all that kind of stuff. So that's the type of stuff that we would talk about. And I would teach them different Irish dances, and we would play wonderful Irish music. And Enya is from Ireland, so if you like not necessarily a rock, there's that, but there's a ton of wonderful things out there. So I have a binder of some of the things that we would do, which included a menu, and we would do limericks. Now, Limerick, there's a county in Ireland called Limerick. I am not positive actually if that's where limericks started from, but I created this little thing, this little paper, so that we would have a limerick writing contest, and we would pair up. Here's what it says. Writing a limerick's absurd. Line 1 and line 5 rhyme in word. And just as you've reckoned, they rhyme with the second. The fourth line must rhyme with the third. And so it kind of gave you an idea of how to write a limerick, and then you had to come up with something. So one of the things that we would do is Lucky O Leprechaun would come visit our home, and I'd have this chest that had goodie bags in it or treats for the kids, and they would go on a scavenger hunt. And we knew Lucky was there when the water in the toilet was green. And the kids had a blast. So they knew Lucky had been around, and we would leave a little cup and we would put milk in it. You might substitute lemonade depending on the time of what your weather is like, because boy, that milk, if it doesn't get drank when the kids are watching it, it doesn't end up with some sour milk. But so here's some of the different things we did. Is I would try to write little notes from Lucky in small print, and because the kids couldn't necessarily read cursive at the time, so I would write in very small print as best I could, and I would try to use words that were common in Ireland, or even Gaelic words. So here's one. Let's see if you can guess where we're supposed to be going. So if this is your clue. I hear a rumble in my belly. I'll grab me toast and jelly. Needing a new view, it's time for Doctor Who. Let's go and watch an episode on the telly. So if you guessed television, you're absolutely right. And then I would use, here's one. Last clue, it has been a crack. Just like a party. Fun, that is, we do not lack. Dear family and friends, please don't let it end. Back to the kitchen to find an orange snack. So then they would head back to kitchen, and then there was a snack that was the color of orange. Now the reason why I did that was because the flag in Ireland is 3 colors. It's orange, white, and green. And orange represented the Protestants of Ireland, green represented the Catholics of Ireland, and white represented the peace that they desired between the two. So why green? Why is everything green? Well, Ireland is known as the Emerald Isle. It is a very green island because there's a lot of rain. It's beautiful. Well, there's other things you can do too. Maybe you don't want to do a party. That's totally fine. Display some books if you have them. I like to decorate, obviously, but there's also fun cards that you can pick up, and Dollar Tree has them. These small ones are hilarious. But they've got funny ones, and then they've got real pretty ones, you know, with what appears to be scenery from Ireland. One thing I do struggle with is in Ireland, when people say St. Paddy's Day, Paddy is representing a male. So when you're talking to someone from Ireland, or you're writing to someone, if you say St. Paddy's Day, make sure you use D's, because if you use T's, like Patty with Patty, you're talking about a woman. Lastly, this also talks about Purim, which is a wonderful time of year that if you read the book of Esther, you'll learn a little bit more about it. And she does have a recipe in here for chocolate Haymaneshan. And so if you read the story in Esther, you'll know why they celebrate Purim. And Haymaneshan are these triangular shaped cookies that have like jelly or something like that in the middle traditionally, and they're pointed like that. They believe that Haman wore like a tri or three-pointed hat, and I don't know where that comes from, but that's what that comes. That's what that's all about. The Hamaneshan cookies, and they're really yummy. It's spring, so paint your toenails. Take the time to paint your toenails. Bring your Bible outside and read if it's warm enough for you where you're at. I want to encourage you to wear sunscreen if you do that. And then also, this is a great time to start talking to your family about summer plans and make sure that your Easter plans are in full swing as best as you can wherever you are. God bless you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.